Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to today's episode of Big, Beautiful Badasses. I am joined by Andrea Powell today, who is so amazing, you guys. You're going to love her. Before we get started, again, if you want to be a supporter of this broadcast, please consider helping keeping me caffeinated. Go to buymeacoffee.com/, this fat girl life. Y'all already know I live on coffee. I mean, come on now. Every time you see me, I have coffee. That's how I get through. By being a sponsor, you guys, you will learn the tea before anybody else. And y'all trust, there is some stuff coming down the line. You want to know about it before anybody else. So, buymeacoffee.com/, this fat girl life. One moment. I had to cough.
You're fine.
Andrea, thank you so much for being on the show today. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you for having me. Like I said, I've been looking out for you for a while. I'm like, okay, I gotta see what this is about. I want to be down like Brandy. I want to be down.
Love it. Well, you are also a podcaster. You are the host of We Are Not So Different.
Yes, yes.
But before we get into that, before we get into everything that you do and everything that makes you such a badass, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Andrea Powell. As she stated, I did a stint in radio for a little bit. I'm an author. I released a book last year. I like to have stuff going on. It keeps me busy, right? But yeah, I am all about positivity, all about creativity, all about like doing what you love, and as long as you can do it in a manner that is positive and makes people I just am a firm believer in being an encourager.
I love that. Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your podcast and what you do with that?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your podcast and what you do with that?
Sure. So it's called We Are Not So Different, and it was rooted in the fact that it's self-explanatory. We're not so different, right? There are a million things that we can name about one another that would be different. But mine, I take the collective like life experiences that draw us together as opposed to tearing us apart. And then we talk about it. We talk about all the taboo stuff that nobody wants to talk about. We talk about like life. We're in media, right? So you live for social media. So you see all the good stuff. Oh, so-and-so just got married. Oh, so-and-so just got a promotion. Oh, so we see all the glitz and the glam. But what about the ugly, seedy underbelly of stuff that nobody wants to talk about? Infertility, divorce, or struggling marriages, or whatever else it is, right? Just life. The stuff that nobody wants to talk about, the stuff that brings us together, the stuff that makes us common, the stuff that makes us, we are not so different.
I absolutely love that.
That's where we come in.
I absolutely love that. And I love that you are doing that because I think people need to see that commonality. And that really just feeds right into this show.
Okay.
With being plus size, there's a stigma. We deal with, fat phobia. Mm-hmm. We deal with fat biases. We deal with all of that.
All of it.
But I don't think the straight size community sees that all the time and sees that we have the same struggles as our thinner counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
We want the same things that they want.
Sure.
We want the cute clothes. We want to be able to go out to eat. We want the relationship,
all that,
whoever it's with. And I think people miss that.
Mm-hmm. Because the underlying fact remains that regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of the culture that you're raised, we are all human beings and we all share basic needs. Like you said, we all want to be loved. We all want to, feel appreciated, respected. That's something that we can, like you said, a commonality we all want, regardless of the outside appearance. We all want it. We need it.
Well, and we also all, aside from just those tangible things, fat women deal with the same depression issues that thin women deal with. Black women deal with the same depression issues that white women deal with. I think people miss that there is such commonality.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's really easy, the media especially, news portrays the differences and the strife. But I feel like, we need to come together as a collective.
It's imperative because you know what, you said it right. Like the news will and the media will point out differences, but you know what, it's something that is innate. It is natural for us to notice differences. Like when you were little, what your mama used to say, don't stare, but he looked different or she looks different, don't stare.
Mm-hmm.
It's natural. For we need an outside influence that like drilling it into the fact that we're different. You're different. You're not the same. Why do we don't need that. You can see if you got eyes to see, and if you don't have eyes to see, then other senses will
Mm-hmm.
allow you to perceive it. So
Well, and you and I talked a little bit yesterday, and I told you about the fight for inclusivity
mhm.
and what was going on with that. And I think that's another area where it's really, let's focus on this coming together as a collective.
Mhm.
Now, when I told you what was going on with that, let me give a quick brief overview for anybody who doesn't know. Saucy West, who is an amazing, amazing woman, has started this movement, the Fight for Inclusivity, to bring awareness and get businesses, especially clothing designers and clothing manufacturers, to be truly inclusive. A 5X that fits a size 20 is not inclusive.
Hmm.
Walking into J.C. Penney and seeing it only goes up to a 2X is not inclusive. Going into a store to
Mhm.
buy clothing and they have one rack clear in the back corner that is
Mhm.
plus size is not inclusive. This movement, the fat acceptance movement in and of itself, goes back hundreds of years.
Mm.
It was started by fat black women. Now people are trying to silence that. So this again is where we need to
Do
come
you?
together as a collective.
It doesn't. Does it surprise you though? Anything that is not the norm, that is not the typical beauty standard, and I'll even add in European beauty standard. Anything that does not fit in their nice little neat box is going to be shunned. It's going to be like people say you're afraid of stuff that you don't understand. Not to say that they're necessarily afraid, but if it doesn't look like it, then you don't have a place here. And I'm so that was started hundreds of years ago because this is nothing new. Yes, it's at the forefront now with a lot of positivity and acceptance coming on. But this is something, as long as it's been fat people on the earth, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that this lady is doing this thing with this fashion movement because no plus size woman. We tired of looking like floral arrangements. Now, God
Oh my
bless you.
God,
If you like
yes.
floral arrangements, God bless you. But I don't want to look like a forest. I'm tired of cat sweaters. Now, if you love cat sweaters, I don't fear nobody. But I don't want to. And if I'm 20, I don't want to look like I'm 40. Certain designers, just because you're bigger, they make you look like more matronly and more. Listen, I want to be cute, and I want
Yes.
it to fit, and I want it to be
Yes.
quality. Fix it. Fix
And
it.
I don't want to pay 10 times more than a
Exactly.
skinny person does
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the same garment.
Agreed. Agreed. And these are things that I won't say all people know because I'm sure some people do. But it's like when you're thin, you don't and find something that A fits, that is cute, and that will not break my bank book. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that I'm not trying to exclude anyone. I have to cover myself here because I'm sure that
Mm-hmm.
thinner people have problems. Like if you're really petite, I'm sure you have problems finding clothes that will fit. Or if you're really, thin. But what I'm saying is you have a much larger selection and therefore a better chance of finding things that will gravitate toward what is pleasing to you, then
Yeah. Well, I am taking a stance at this point
okay.
because I know that it is the black voices that are being shut down.
Mm.
As a fat white woman, I have that white privilege, so to speak. I'm going to use my white privilege
There you go.
for good.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am going to take a stance on this
Or
because if they're not going to listen to black voices, listen to the white voice because
listen.
we need it too.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I am not trying to discredit anything
Mm-hmm.
that any black woman has done before me.
Sure, I understand what you're saying.
I do not. I give credit where credit is due. That was started way before me. That was started before any of my knowledge. But I'm pissed.
Mm.
I am so pissed.
And you, because it's going to affect you whether you know it or not. I mean, it's going
Exactly.
to affect you.
Exactly. So that is what I am now doing. And like I said, I mentioned, when I did my little thing with Buy Me a Coffee, the tea, y'all, that's where I'm going to be spilling the tea on some stuff that's coming up.
Oh, she got tea,
Because,
y'all.
yes, there is tea, and the little sneak peek of it is there is a fourth podcast in the works. And the release date and all the good information on it will be on that site. So
Y'all
y'all
better
need to
tune
sign up.
in. Y'all better tune in.
Yes. But it's not just clothing. I hate going into a restaurant and look at some of those booths. I'm gonna throw one restaurant out there.
Okay.
And it's one of my husband's and my favorite place to go. Texas T-Bone. Or Texas Roadhouse, excuse me. I love their food. Love the prime rib. I hate sitting in those booths. It
Mm.
practically cuts me in half.
Mm. Now, I will say some places have booths that are adjustable, but for the most part, I understand what you're saying. And I, it's it can be embarrassing
Mm-hmm.
because, first of all, God forbid somebody, should be to get into the booth. And then if you have to get out, you got to do the same thing. And maybe your stomach is a little bit protruding because you just had a good meal. So now you got to suck it in and then shimmy again out. But you know what I hate? It's another struggle for the plus size. The word that me and a previous guest coined was voluptuosity.
Voluptuous girl, I am going to use that.
Voluptuosity.
I'm stealing that from you. I'm telling you
Listen,
right now.
have a girl, but if you put me in a chair that's got those little things on the side, so now I'm all squeezed up, and by the time I get out, it's an indentation on the side of my thighs. Listen, I'm gonna need y'all to think about some things.
Oh God,
These
yes.
people, these restaurants, I need y'all to think about it for just a second.
I hate those chairs. Oh, I
My
hate those
goodness.
chairs.
Oh,
And then there's the beauty salon.
mm,
You go to get your hair done. I go to a beauty school to get my
okay.
hair done. Every time I sit in that chair, I ease into it
Yes,
very slowly because
yes,
there's that
ma'am.
fear that it's not going to hold.
And it's
Something's going to
real.
happen.
It's real.
And
So,
that's why there's a salon out in Vegas
uh-huh.
that I can't wait to go to again. So excited. She has chairs that are designed to hold up to 800 pounds.
I'm gonna need you to drop that name, sis. If you got
Baby
somebody,
doll beauty couture.
okay, I can see because if you got people out there doing the Lord's work, I'm gonna need you to give them props and let us people know where we can go.
Baby doll beauty couture. It is on Decatur in Las Vegas.
Mm,
Jamie Lopez is
mm,
the owner. What she has done there is amazing. All the salon chairs. are designed to hold up to 800 pounds. And she's actually creating a furniture line to be able to sell these chairs to other salons.
Okay, furniture shopping. I do something called the flop test. I will literally flop like my full weight down. Of course, after you do the test first, you got to ease to make sure you know it's gonna hold you. But once you figure out how to do the flop test, because then you got to know that you got sturdy furniture. So this lady has dedicated like this. She's going to be releasing like a line of furniture.
Yes,
girl, that's exciting.
She has a clothing line. She has a modeling agency now for plus size models, like true plus size models, not the little hourglass plus size. And if you are hourglass and plus size, God bless you. Mm-hmm. I am not. I want to see someone on a runway that looks like me.
I feel you on that because it's different types of plus size. Of course, like you said, the Coke bottlers can sometimes be deemed as more, acceptable or, but sometimes you got a big belly. Maybe you carry your weight in your belly. And maybe you don't got a lot of belly, but you're still beautiful, big belly and all. I'm just saying. But like you said, I want to see somebody that looks like me. Representation is everything.
It is. It is. And that's what people are missing. And I'm to a point where I am not willing to give people my money if they can't accommodate. Why am I going to go to JCPenney or wherever, even if it's buy clothes for somebody else? Why am I giving them their money when I can't shop there?
Agreed. It makes sense.
I mean, I feel like as plus size women, as a plus size community, we've got to draw a line in the sand somewhere.
Yeah,
we really
put them in their pockets. Yes,
exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. Yep. So that's kind of where I'm at. And now that I've gone on my little rant, thank you for going on the rant with me.
You're welcome, love.
I think this doesn't get talked about nearly enough, though. And unless we talk about this and we have these conversations, people aren't going to know what we as a plus size community deal with. Mm-hmm. I mean, even travel.
Started. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I need to cut you off.
No, girl, you're fine. It's just my husband and I are going to be taking a trip out to Vegas. Mm-hmm. We're choosing to drive.
Oh, wow.
Multiple reasons. One, that means we don't got to rent a car out there.
Okay.
Two, I can be comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for 2 seats on an airplane.
Let me there is one company in particular that in my opinion, I'll use the term fat friendly. Southwest.
I've heard about that.
Yes. They have the customer of size policy, and I use it all the time. And you can pay for an extra seat, but here's the trick for my fluffy ladies out there. If you don't want to pay for that ticket, when you go to check in, go to the desk where the people help you or whatever, and you can ask them, I'd like to take advantage of the customer size policy. Your ticket right then you can actually pre-board, so you don't have to wait for everybody else. If you're like a B or a C, you pre-board, choose the seat that you want, put the extra ticket in the middle seat or whatever seat it is, and no one can sit there. So you're automatically guaranteed, you can be comfortable, and ask them for a seatbelt extender. I have no shame because I'm gonna be comfortable because I'm in Georgia. I'm not driving in Nevada. God bless you.
No, I'm in Colorado, so it's not like it's we're gonna break it into 2 parts: drive 5 hours, then drive 8.
Right. Right.
But no, I just heard about the thing with Southwest.
Yes.
Last week with last week's guest, she told me about it.
Yes.
And yes, plus size community, plus fluffy people, you're gonna pay a little bit more for the ticket. Their prices are a little bit higher than say Frontier,
Oh
but you're not paying for two damn seats.
no. Mm-mm. I'm not
It's still cheaper than paying for two seats.
doing that. I mean, they
And
would.
if they're accommodating the plus size community, that's who I'll be flying with.
Yeah, Southwest. I use them all the time. I fly with them most frequently because they're very accommodating. I remember, oh my gosh, I had an incident with American Airlines, and me and my friend, where were we flying? I think we were going to Amsterdam, and she upgraded and got us like first class seats, not the first class, like the kind where you lay back, but the kind at the front so you can have more leg room. And girl, when I tell you we got to the front and I couldn't fit in the seat, it took all of what was in me not to burst into tears. The trickle. And then she's like, my friend was like, no, ma'am, suck that up. So we were able to like negotiate with another couple. Of course, they willing to give up their seat to have the better seats or whatever. But like, I couldn't even fit in the seat, let alone like a seat belt. I couldn't fit in the seat. So yeah, you're right. I think that issues like this need to be brought to the forefront, definitely. And then not just brought to the forefront, like, okay, here we make some differences because fluffy people got green money too, and we're willing to spend it, whether it be in the fashion industry, whether it be in the travel industry, or whatever other industry. Look, we out here, and we're not going anywhere. That part.
Even TSO is coming out here. I love me some TSO. Oh my God, it's been a dream forever to see them live in concert.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be here in Colorado Springs. They're also going to be in Denver. I'm like, my husband and I have talked about going, but I will go to Denver before I will go to the arena here in the Springs.
Oh.
Because I cannot fit in the seats at the arena here in the Springs. I went to that arena for my niece's high school graduation. Trying to get my butt into that seat.
Wow.
Oh my, that was a painful, like physically painful.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And they don't even consider, don't consider these things.
Not at all.
That's unfortunate. Mm.
And so these are the issues for anybody who's watching this who is more straight size or a smaller fat. People who are on the larger fat spectrum, these are the issues that we deal with
daily.
Exactly, daily. It is humiliating. It is damaging to our mental health. It is damaging to our self-esteem. It doesn't just affect us on the outside. And it's real easy for people to say, oh, well, just lose weight and you won't have that problem. Weight
is so ignorant.
There are people who are this size and they can't lose the weight. They may have a medical condition.
Exactly. You don't know.
Exactly.
People don't know.
Mm-hmm. So all we are asking for is the same thing that you're giving to a skinnier counterpart. That's all we want.
Not much to ask.
It really isn't. It really isn't. Okay. Like, I'm about to cry now.
Oh, don't cry, sis. Because there is a movement. There's change. I mean, I believe in one of the greatest periods of times alive to be able to see people voicing their opinion and then enacting policies and procedures that will affect change. I love it. Like I can say we because we part of it. Doggone it. Change can be very taxing. It can be very emotionally draining, and that's one thing. Like one of the few things that you were talking about a few minutes ago. People don't understand that there are certain things that we must consider before we even leave the house. Like there are certain things that we have to consider that the average person will never have to even think about. And that can be very emotionally draining. And if you're emotionally drained, that of course then affects your physical. It's a vicious cycle. But like I said, there are changes being made, hunty. There are some trailblazers out there that are lighting up the way, girlfriend. And I think it's only going to get bigger and better. You know, they said bigger.
Yes. Love it.
Yes.
Well, Andrea, thank you so much for coming on and having this conversation with me.
You're welcome.
This is not a conversation that needs to be swept under the rug. This needed to happen today.
For what? Like I said, and thank you for Cindy, but like sweep us under the rug where, girlfriend? We here and we big and loud and proud. Look, I have purple hair. I am not one to be like swept under the rug or stuck away. Anyway, no, we're here, girlfriend. We're here. We out here.
Well, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, if they want to listen to your podcast, they want to read your book, where do they find you?
Great. So I am, what's that? Who is that? That car is like, you're everywhere you want to be. That's where I am on Facebook under Andrea Powell. I also have a Facebook page for We Are Not So Different. I am on Instagram under Andrea Powell. And also, We Are Not So Different. I am under Twitter under From Maize to Powell, I think it is. I am on Snapchat. I have a YouTube channel where I place my podcast, and I have my website, wearenotsodifferent.com, and you can go there and see all the good stuff. And we just had an overall notification. Where else? iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon, you name it. I'm everywhere. And as for my book, I have hard copies, but you can get an electronic copy right now on Amazon.com. And the name of the book is called Daily Devotions from the Heart of an Encourager. And you can get that for yourself right now. So yeah, like I said earlier, I'm everywhere you want to be.
Well, I will be ordering the book today because I have Kindle. And I love my Kindle. So I will be ordering that today.
Thank you, love. Awesome.
Definitely, I will put your information on the page so people can reach out to you. Check out your podcast. I love it. Thank you again for being on here. I'm so glad that we have connected. And
agreed.
I will make sure to keep you in the loop.
Yes.
Because you are going to want to be a part of what I am starting.
Please do. Please do.
I'm going to be bringing you on. I guarantee it.
Awesome.
Well, you guys, I hope you have an amazing Sunday. Thank you so much for being part of this with us. I will see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.